Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to another AU Special Delivery video. And today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to beat the newest addition to AU Special Delivery, Scrap Baby, which also turns out to be the new hardest character and the new most complex character. So without wasting any time, let's start. During Scrap Baby's encounter, she will have two phases. Keep in mind, she is a quote-unquote boss character, so yeah, she's pretty hard to defeat. So first, let's talk about Phase 1. In Phase 1, you are tasked to complete 6 tasks with your task panel, which can be accessed by touching this left arrow box or clicking the keybind displayed above the left arrow box. In the task menu, you will have 6 tasks: a shopping task, a robot assembly task, a CPU wiring task, a diagnostics task, an AR training task / card matching task, and lastly, a robot shipping task. Before we talk about those, we need to talk about dealing with Scrap Baby, who is normally seated across the desk in front of you. Scrap Baby has 2 forms of attacking during this phase you must deal with. So the first one is where she'll make the lights flicker and play sound that kind of sounds like a winding up sound, at least to me. And when she does this, she'll move behind you. You'll see she leaves her desk. To counter this, you need to turn around by touching the right arrow with your mouse or clicking the keybind above the box. By the way, I'm going to mention right now, if you're not on PC, you should be able to just use your finger for mobile or whatever keybinds or whatever, however, you should be able to see how to do it on controller and VR. Okay, but once you turn around by, touching the box or doing the keybind, you'll see that a flashlight will place your mouse, or more specifically, it will connect to your mouse, so wherever your mouse moves, the flashlight will move as well. And you must hover the center of the light over Scrap Baby for a couple seconds in order to counter her leaving her desk and set her back. And I'd recommend never going here if she doesn't move, because it's very obvious when she moves. And yeah, also make sure you go as soon as possible when she moves, because you don't have any time to like turn around and shine the light at her, because if your panel's open or you're looking at a desk and you sit there for even just a single second, she will kill you. And it's also I'm not 100% how long it takes, but how long you have to find her behind you. But just practice looking for her as quickly possible. And you can't turn around with your panel open, so make sure you practice closing your panel and then turning around. And in general, just practice turning around as fast as you can. So yeah, and then the next thing you need to keep in mind is her second attack, which is similar to Freddy Fazbear Pizza Simulator / FNAF 6. And for it, Scrap Baby will have 3 stages. Each stage, she will, her eyes will change, and she'll also sort of change her pose a little bit. But the most notable change is her eyes. So in stage 1, her eyes will be closed, and they'll be just completely black. In stage 2, she'll slightly open her eye. One of them will be half open, the other one will be a quarter open or a third. Depends on how you see it. And then lastly, she'll have stage 3, where her eyes will be very noticeably completely open, and she'll be sitting up completely straight. When she's on stage 3, you must click the shocker on your desk with the panel closed. If your panel's open, it won't work. And when you do that, your danger level will go up by 1 bar. She'll reset back to stage 1. And, yeah. So every time you shock her, your danger level goes up by 1 bar. She resets, which means she has to get back to stage 3. If she passes stage 3, by the way, you do die. If you look at her, she can't switch stage. I don't believe she can kill you while you're turned around. Not 100% sure about that. I wouldn't do it anyway. there's no reason to turn around if she's not there. But yeah, she can still move when you look at her, though. And when she does move and she comes back to your desk, she can pass a stage. One more thing you need to know is that once you reach 6 danger bars, the next time you shock her, she will kill you. Another way you can tell if, like, you can't count for some reason, if you have completely just 2 red bars of danger meter, then that's how you know the next time you shock her, you will die. So yeah, that's basically how to deal with her during Phase 1, but now we need to talk about how to complete the 6 tasks, which I recommend doing as fastly as possible before you run, you shock her for the 7th time and then you die. Yeah. So, you can complete any task in any order you want. However, I'm gonna name them, and I'm gonna talk about them in the order that I do them in. So, yeah. But the first task is the shopping task. This task, it will have will bring you like this giant list of every suit, skin, and CPU. And then there will be a blinking white checklist button next to the left of a timer. This timer, if it finishes, the task will fail, but you hopefully won't ever have that happen, because this task, you probably will never take long enough for that to happen, so yeah. You click on the checklist, and that will give you a list of things you need to put onto your cart and then purchase. So it will have a number next to the suit or skin or CPU name, and you just need to memorize the number and the name, and if it's a suit or CPU, and then click the checklist button again, and then look for that suit or CPU, click on the little button under the icon, and then you'll see the number pad. Just put in the number, like if it's 1717, digit by digit, and then click the hashtag button or whatever you want to call that button, and then that will put it in. If you put in the wrong number or put in a number, if you confirm a number, I should say, like if you put in the wrong number, you can click the X button to the left of the hashtag to empty your little text bar. The red X does the same thing, but it also closes that menu. So yeah, keep that in mind. So yeah, if you put in the wrong thing, then you will fail the task, and you have to restart, and there's a chance when you fail the task. I haven't seen it since they updated the game, the first update after Scrappy released. I haven't seen them do this, the game do this, but sometimes it might add additional things you have to put in your cart to purchase. But anyway, once you confirm a number, like click the hashtag button, and it doesn't fail your task, it will get rid of that off the checklist, and once your checklist is completely clear, you click the little shopping cart button that should be blinking white if you've done it right, and your checklist is empty. And then as long as your checklist isn't open, you want to click the yes button. If you click no, like if you accidentally click the shopping cart, just click no, and it'll close that little prompt. But if you click yes, it will purchase it and you complete the task. So yeah, that was probably the most long task that takes the longest to explain. So I'm not going to talk about the other ones, which will take way less time. The Assemble Robots one is really simple. You just see everything you need at the top, and then you'll see in the middle a little conveyor with parts moving past it. This conveyor does move while your panel's closed, so keep that in mind. I'd recommend, if you don't see the part you need on the conveyor, the conveyor remove the parts, you just need to click and drag the part into the box that you need that on the top that doesn't have a check. It does take a little bit of time before the check appears, so make sure you don't put in the same thing twice if you don't need it twice. And yeah, as I was saying, you can close, if you can't see the part you need, just close your panel for a little bit and watch Scrap Baby so she can't switch her phase. And then reopen it, look for that part, and then just drag it into the box at the bottom. Once you have all the, I think it's 6 parts put in the box, you'll complete the task. If you put in the wrong part, you have to restart the entire task. Third one is CPU wiring. On the right, you'll see the CPU you need to make, and all the pieces you need to make it will be on the left. You just click and drag the piece you need to the right, and until you complete it, and then you finish the task. There's no way to fill this one. So, yeah, and then the next task will be the diagnostics task. You'll see an endo with a bunch of colors lighting up on random parts of his body in a certain order. Remember the order of the colors up here, and then repeat that order on the right. So if it was like red, red, blue, you do red, red, blue on the buttons to your right. Make sure you actually did click on the button, by the way, because it takes a little bit after the final color is shown to allow you to click on it. Also, when you close it, the panel, it will reset the task, and it'll give you new patterns, so you have to commit. I recommend doing this task during, or not during, after you shock Scrap Baby, or as soon as he switches to stage 2. So yeah. And sometimes it can be 3 or 4 colors. I'm not 100% sure why it changes, why it's 4 and why it's 3 sometimes. I think it's just random. So yeah, you have to do this 3 times, by the way. Each time you do it, you don't have to do that, you don't have to do it again. Like, if you do it twice, and you close the panel, you don't have to do it twice anymore. You just start from number 2, and you do number 3, whatever. And once you do all 3, you finished, and now I'm going to talk about the next task, which is the AI training / like, matching card one. This one, you'll see the cards, and you'll have to wait a little bit for the cards to flip back around. So they'll flip, you can memorize it, and then you have to wait for them to flip back around, and then you can start clicking them. It takes a very long time, so I recommend doing it after shocking Baby, or as soon as she switches to stage 2, and you don't have to memorize everything. Memorize, like, all except for maybe 2 or 3, because once you do all the ones that you remember, click the little button to the left of the cards, and it'll show you them again, and you can close this task. It doesn't reset as long as the cards have flipped after they've been shown for the first time. If you click the little reveal card, the reveal button again, the cards will flip over. However, you can close the panel, and you'll hear them flip back over. So you memorize it. What I do is I memorize it, and then I close it, and then I watch her until I hear the flip noise, and I reopen it and put in the last, like, 2 or 3 that I need to do. And then the last task is the shipping one, which on the right you'll see 6 addresses next to a number that has, like, a hashtag or a number symbol, whatever you call it, and then you'll see 6 boxes with a number, and it's just click on the little button under the box, whatever number that box had, look for that number's address on the right, and then put it in. All of the addresses have different starting numbers except for 19. So you only need to remember the name of 19 because that's the only address that has the same number. Hopefully that made sense to you. Keep in mind, if you have any questions, like, I'm trying to make this as short as video as possible. So if any questions, just tell me in the comments and I'll reply to you as fast as possible. As fast as I can see them, you know. So you just do that for all 6. If you misinput it, it does reset the entire task. So yeah, just if you forgot it, just randomly click. Try to do this one as fast as you can, though, because it's the easiest one, to me at least. Well, the CPU wiring is also very easy, but yeah. So before we move on to phase 2, let's talk about a little tip. So there's 6 tasks, but only 3 of them are depend on how fast you complete it. These are the shopping one, the CPU wiring, and the shipping task. So practice these as much as possible. Get these locked down so you can complete them as fast as possible. But yeah. Alright, so let's talk about Phase 2. Phase 2 is way more simple. In Phase 2, you're placed in a much more familiar battle environment, and you have your shocker, your flashlight, as well as a tape and checklist. To defeat Scrap Baby, you must, well, it's kind of hard to explain, so let's first talk about how to actually survive her, because this is important. She can't actually die so until you do a certain thing with the checklist, so let's talk about how to survive until you do that thing. So she does 3 things: glimpses, which are actually animated. They move the second you, they only move after you see them, so they're gonna like stand still and then move. So that's how they work. If you get a little confused, or maybe you mix them up with a haywire, just remember they don't move until a little bit after you see them. So look for that little non-moving time frame, period of time, you know, whatever. So yeah, glimpses completely harmless, and it just like makes her voice sound like it's coming from the glimpse. So yeah, and then haywire, it has green eyes normally, but it's actually white eyes, so you look at her. But one more thing, you have to use the tape while looking at her to survive it. Make sure, because I guess I should mention this first, but the way the tape works is once you click it, it will play for a certain amount of time before it ends, and you can't extend that time, shorten it, or stop it, you know. So if you click it before the haywire, it can end during the haywire, and if it ends during the haywire, you die. So try not to accidentally click it during a charge or a glimpse, because that might get you killed. So yeah. And lastly, her charge, she never charges without decloaking. She always decloak, and you must always shock her. So yeah, that's how to survive her, but now let's talk about the checklist. So the checklist will have 3 checkboxes and 2 images to the left of them. So the far left image will never change. It will always be the same thing, and they represent on the first, for the first layer, the first checkbox layer, it will be representing a glimpse. That left picture, the left picture in the middle one will always be representing a haywire, and the left picture in the bottom one will always be representing a charge. And that little picture on the left will point to the middle picture, which is will change between 5 things. However, it can't be the same thing twice. This middle thing will be what they call a difference. So when they do the action that, like the, you know, like the image representing a glimpse that's pointing towards a picture, if that, you have to look for that difference, whatever the difference that picture is representing. Usually you'll be able to tell just by looking at it. You have to see that during the glimpse, or whatever is to the left of it. And if you see it during whatever action's to the left of it, click the checkbox on the right to check it. And once you check all 3 checkboxes, you can deactivate the Scrap Baby the next time you shock her. If you have all 3 checked, and you haven't actually seen all the 3 things, and you shock her, she will kill you. So yeah, keep that in mind. And yeah, only shock her when she charges after you have all 3 checked, because I don't know if it will kill you if you do that after and she haywire. So yeah, I wouldn't test it if I were you, unless you use the CPU or something. So now I'm going to talk about the 5 different differences. So there's 3 you can have on the checklist in one encounter, but there's 5 in total. There's her eyes, Scrap Baby's eyes, switching between blue and green. There's her eyes being completely black, her claw being opened, her mask being opened, and her head twitching. And you may be thinking about the head twitching right now in the claw opening. If you see it, if you're like, I see head twitching, it's head twitching. Like, there's no doubting in the thing. If you see it, you see it. Also, sometimes usually at the start, the blue and green alternating eyes will look white, so keep that in mind. But once you see all the things, you can shock her and deactivate her, and boom, you have defeated Scrap Baby. And I recommend just keep practicing, and don't lose the muscle memory of how to defeat her before you're done with her. You know, like, before you get all her icons and CPUs and stuff, because she's very hard, obviously, and if you forget how to defeat her, I don't think anyone wants to watch another tutorial. But they are actually putting, I don't know how in depth it's going to be, but they're actually putting a tutorial in game soon on how to defeat her. So yeah, this is just, and I know people have already made tutorials, but this is just a much more in-depth thing with like tips and stuff. See, also one more thing, the haywire, you can't look away with the tape. Like, you can't look away from her haywire at all. She has to be on your screen at all times. And you can open your checklist while she haywires. But yeah, that's basically everything. So I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks for listening and stuff to this Scrap Baby tutorial. I hope you can watch this and then figure out how to defeat Scrap Baby and then defeat her, and, you know, get her suit, get her icon, CPU, and maybe if you're as lucky as me, you can get the CPU first try and the icons at the same time, or and stuff. But I bought the suit, if you saw my videos, so I don't know how long it takes to get suits. Actually, I think it's a 1 in 10 chance, and CPUs are 1 in 20, and icons are 1 in 5 or something. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so thanks for watching. See you in the next video or live stream I'll be in, and yeah, goodbye.